You want to sell more EVs? I'm going to teach you how in this video. I don't really care what your feeling is regarding EVs. The fact of the matter is they're starting to pile up on our dealership lots. You can't argue that. And it's just a question of time before the floor plan expenses are going to start choking you again. Now, what's the number one reason we're not selling EVs? You want to test? Go to each one of your salespeople and ask them, why would I buy an EV and why would I buy one here? Those two simple questions will tell you exactly what the state is of why you're not selling EVs at your store. The best anyone can come up with is, oh, there's a $7,500 tax incentive. Well, not so much, because if my tax liability is only $3,000, I'm not realizing the full $7,500. You have to remember, billions of dollars are spent every day to scare people from buying EVs. So you mention the letters EV, whoever you're talking with, they're gone. I'd say overall in this country, we're about 7% adoption rate, with probably most of that in California. So if you're waiting for people to come in and buy EVs from you, that's not going to happen. So instead of being reactive, let's be proactive. If you have a store that's been around for a while, you have a very large database. And I always believe in starting with the end in mind. What's in it for the customer? Because that's really all they care about. So you have all these customers that have been doing business with you for years. They come into your service department, they're happy, you know them, they know you know each other's stories. You know ahead of time who's coming in. So here's a strong suggestion. And I know it borders on prospecting, which is not something we've been doing lately, but I think it's time we start again. So look at your customer that's been in over the last 2 years, let's say, and look at what they've spent for service and look at what they may have spent in gas. So I drive a car that gets 25 miles to the gallon. So at 15,000 miles per year, I'm going to have to buy about 1,200 gallons of gas. At an average price of $3.75, that's a $4,500 gasoline bill, okay, over 2 years. Depending on how they drive, they may or may not need a set of brakes. A set of pads and rotors could be $400, $450. So in just gas and one set of brakes, that's about $5,000 the customer has spent. So when the customer comes in, hey, Mrs. Jones, how are you? It's nice to see you. I've been looking at your service history over the last couple of years, and I'm estimating that at 25 miles per gallon and some of the servicing that you've done, the brakes, you may have spent around $5,500 or so. Does that sound about right? Have you had any work done anywhere else over the last couple of years? If they have, you add that to the number. So once you verify what they've spent in operating costs over the last couple of years, you ask them, that $5,500 that you spent, if I gave that back to you, what would you do with that money? How would that change your life? Now they're thinking, why is he asking me this? Well, because I had the ability to give you that money. Anybody with half a brain is at least going to want to learn more. Right? That's the opener. I've not mentioned EVs, nor do I intend to. That's interesting. How would you give that back to me? Come with me. You turn and you walk. You walk them to one of your EVs that's parked in a parking space. You don't mention anything about EV. You walk into the car, you open the door, you get them situated, you adjust the mirrors, now you get in on the other side. All right, let's go for a ride. They'll ask you, where do I start the car? It's already running. Interesting. You still haven't mentioned EV. So take it out of park, put it into reverse, take it out on the main road. Now, there's no traffic. I want you to punch it. When they punch that pedal, they're going to get sucked into the seat. They're going to feel G-forces. It's going to be unlike anything they've ever experienced, ever. You think that'll impress somebody? You take them for a drive, the handling, the performance, it's unlike anything they've ever experienced. When you get back to the shop, now you have the opportunity to have the conversation about it being an electric vehicle. And I know we've all been told about charging this, charging that, but a lot of stores today are offering free charging to their customers. They came to the store to buy it. It's really no problem in them coming to you to charge it, especially if you offer it to them. Some manufacturers offer free charging for a set number of years. And there's a charging network that tells them exactly, if they're going on a road trip, where all the chargers are. And when somebody says, oh, well, if, I could always find a gas station to top it off, if it's a gas engine car. Can you top off your gas engine car at home? No, you can't. But you can get an adapter between your dryer and, and that plug, and you can charge your car at home. So I'm not here to sell you on charging infrastructure or any of the other things we've been scared about or been scared into not wanting to buy an EV for. I'm just helping you with a conversation to have with your customers, your good customers that trust you, as to how over the last 2 years span they could have saved themselves $5,000, $5,500. And then we look at, that's only 2 years. Projected out to 5 years, that's a lot of money. Like I said, people only care about what's important to them. If you can show them how you could have saved them taking $5,000 or $10,000 out of their pocket, that's what they care about, especially now that all these other costs have gone up. Now that's an example of having the charging done for free at the dealer that offers it. If you had to pay for that charging over a year's span, on average, across the board, charging at home, most EV owners will spend about $1,000 a year on charging it. So over that 2-year span, it's about $2,000 in charging. So present the value to the customer and let them decide. That's how you're going to sell more EVs at your store. Follow the process because the process works.